God bless this man. God bless Ellen Historian for the content that he just keeps giving. For me as a lazy reactor, people like Ellen Historian it's a blessing. I know how you feel about him. But first, let's play this soundtrack. All right, I think Unwelcome School is fitting of this current drama. And right now we have a new situation where we have identified the 4 horsemen of the anime community. And this tweet starts off with Ellen Historian quote retweeting this guy, Bloodwench LN. Ooh, maybe he's part of the LN cult, bro. He's got the same light novel tag there. And he says, the anime community would be so much better if they were not involved. And listen, I've reacted to content from Rev. I've reacted to content from Chibi. I know of Nux, and I've reacted to Espiritu. And you know what's fucked up? Why is Espiritu getting shit on? And okay, before we go into this, before I make comparison, I need you to understand I have no personal beef with any of these guys. Espiritu is my Australian homie. We farm Chibi and Rev's videos sometimes, and I honestly know nothing about Nux. I only hear of the drama that's happened in the past, but I literally know none of the actual drama. And I know that he made a lot of controversial content that a lot of people hated, and that's why he's a very big hated figure. But like, you're gonna put up Espiritu there? This dude, like right over here, this tweet is so funny. I see Espiritu in my timeline a lot. What exactly is wrong with them? They're basically a discount Australian version of Chibi reviews and suffer from woke derangement syndrome. The fact that he knows that Espiritu is Australian, I mean, the accent, I guess, kind of gives it away. But it's kind of like, it's so funny to me when you compare these other 3, like Chibi, Rev, and Nux, with Espiritu. And I'm not trying to like shit on Espiritu saying he's like a lesser content creator that like, you know, his engagement isn't as high. But it's just like, I don't know if this comparison is correct. But like, you're comparing like actual like, I don't want to say Hitler, right? Because Nux is not Hitler, right? Far from it. But like, what the hell is this comparison? This is like Weenie Hut Juniors on the bottom right compared to the other 3 that actually goes out of their way to cover a lot more controversial stuff and give their opinion about it. Espiritu most of the time just sits on the side, just fucking posts his gooner clips, and that shit goes viral online. Like, what is going on? What the hell? But it's funny to me that like this all starts from this random dude that just hates Espiritu so much that he ties Espiritu in with the other 3. And then comes Ellen Historian. And what does he say? Unfortunately, these 4 are a symptom of a much larger problem within the anime community. And oh my goodness. For the last couple of days, it's been non-stop, flagrant, egregious reach of Ellen Historian trying to condemn problematic figures in the anime community and trying to bring up politics into it. And you've seen my analysis. I have given you a fucking an hour-long literal analysis breaking down what's going on. And you know what the best part is? Ain't nobody give a fuck about these videos. Even if I give you the most nuanced analytical approach and break down everything and agree with the things that's correct and disagree with the things that I find incorrect and give an hour long, nobody cares about that. They just want the simple quick drama, right? So if you actually care about the actual stances of anime tourism, you know, whether or not, you know, these kind of fan service or censorship and all that and beyond, go watch that video, but you already know about that. But Ellen Historian has been on a non-stop just tirade of this, and this is the next target. Part of me wonders, did he actually pay Bloodwench Ellen for this tweet? Or maybe it's just a coincidence, right? They're just all part of in the same sphere, and we're labeling these 4 as problematic. And what are the problematic symptoms? What is the issue with Chibi or Rev or Nux? Well, for Chibi, let's think about it, right? If you guys don't know, Chibi reviews, right? I'm sure you guys know Chibi, right? Hate him, love him. I think he's a decent guy that has decent takes and fights for the anime community as a whole. You may not agree with his takes, but he constantly goes in and looks at news, and sometimes he's wrong. Of course he can be wrong. He's a human being. He's gonna fuck up. I think that Bochi take with the parent stuff was really weird. but we can all agree that censorship of these kind of fan service stuff, just because you don't want your 4-year-old kid watching it, that's on the parent, not on the anime community, whatever. And I think that censorship is bad as a whole. There's things that we can come collectively to agree that something's harmful should be censored, but anime fan service, anime titties, even lollies. You know how I feel about lollies. I'm probably one of the most outspoken people regarding lolicons and how I find them uncomfortable. But I don't go and say we need to remove or delete that shit. I just say it's just a part of this culture, and it's not my culture, but I am a tourist and I enjoy anime for what it is, so I appreciate it. And you can see over and over, and it's actually kind of crazy that pretty much his entire channel is this is the end, this is the end, this is the over, it's actually ending now. But there's a reason for it, obviously partly because controversy and negative engagement gets clicks, but also this is the truth. There is a lot of bullshit happening in the anime industry with people, activist groups, you know, appealing for censorship of content, you know, MasterCard, Visa and shit, like trying to censor like anime at the root cause and stuff like that. I don't think he's a bad guy. Even if you disagree with them, right? I genuinely think he has the best interest of the anime community. If we look at the other channel, Rev Says Desu. If you don't know him, he is a it's a guy that has a VTuber or like a rig, and damn, he's just going after Hassan. Hassan. Yeah, definitely a lot more politics. This is like less anime. He does cover anime stuff here and there, but this is not like an anime only stuff. Chibi is more specifically anime, right? Rev is more politics of like video games and movies and current trends, right? It's talking about censorship, and definitely, I think, does talk about anime, but not to an extent that this is a problematic figure in the community. I've seen a couple of his content, and most of the times he pretty much has like the same ideology and his mindset as Chibi of like anti-censorship, anti-woke blue-haired, you know, feminists changing fucking subs or whatever. It's kind of that stuff, right? And then Nux, what's Nux up to recently? Nux Taku. What does he do? I genuinely don't know. I don't watch his content. More of anime stuff, Dragon Ball, what, Yu-Gi-Oh, I don't know, but a lot of people hate Nux because of the stuff that happened in the past that I just am not aware of, and that's kind of where we're at. And also for Espiritu, if you don't know, boom, this guy just chills. He just talks about, you know, anime community stuff, right? He talks about, you know, current trends and like anime industry stuff. Yeah, that's what he does. He used to cover more of, I think he has 2 channels though, right? He has 2 channels where he covers light novel analysis and stuff, but definitely doing more chibi related, you know, mainstream media news surrounding anime stuff. Do you think that they're problematic? Why are they problematic? Well, it's because Ellen Historian disagrees with them. And just because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean they're problematic. What's the disagreement about? I think it has to do with what? Their right-leaning ideologies? I don't know. The more that I watch Ellen Historian's content and hear him talk and make comparisons, definitely has a lot of left-leaning ideologies, right? More inclusive, definitely isn't uneducated by any means. I think he's a very reasonable person, but recently I feel like he's definitely setting his targets on specific people in the anime community that he disagrees with due to the past events that's been stockpiling, Chibi specifically involved, and now these other 3 are getting roped into it too. I don't have a problem with left-leaning ideologies. I don't have a problem with right-leaning ideologies. Ellen Historian following Hassan and Destiny means fucking nothing to me. I could be following Hassan too, and at that point, what are you gonna say? Oh my god, you follow Hassan? I hate you? Remember, don't be a fucking NPC. Stop bragging in like, oh my god, this person follows that person. This person shared a clip of this. I don't care about any of that. I care about the actual fucking words. Usually Ellen Historian though doesn't have much words though. It's like 1-minute clips where it's extremely vague and he dances around the skirts and carefully tries to be as vague as possible to give him the most amount of plausible deniability as possible, which then I go react to that 1-minute video and make a 50-minute analysis about it, talking about it, right? I don't think these 3 are honestly, these 4 are like a problem. I think that there are people like Mr. Simon that has issues with like people online because of the weird parasocial interactions they form, and then suddenly you disagree with somebody, they become your biggest haters, right? Let's read some of this shit. These comments, Lamau, actually, hold up. We gotta go to this one. We already talked about that. This is a tweet, I think, quote retweeting, basically talking about the anime community would be so much better without these retarded assholes in it. Constant complaining about these assholes is exactly why they'll forever be relevant. You retarded idiots complaining about them every fucking day as well, they never fade. You know what? Berserker 144. He is a self-proclaimed racist, misogynistic, homophobic, lesbophobic, fatphobic, communist-phobic weeb, a memer, and maybe an anime Nazi. Maybe a manga supremacist. Maybe he's baiting. But he's not wrong about this, right? This is how it works online. If you really don't like somebody, stop talking about them. Give them more engagement, no matter how bad it is. Like, they're not, like, until they quit or until they like break a TOS that makes them like banned from the platform, you don't cancel people doing this. The more you talk about it, the more relevant it becomes. Now, it's gonna be like bad press, right? There's not just like positive engagement. There's always like a lot of negative engagement of people being like, fuck this guy. And lo and behold, my boy Espiritu later on, random, kids are gonna watch these random ass tweets that's going viral, and without doing due diligence, they'll think, oh my God, are you one of the bad guys? Remember what I've been talking about? How children, the new generation, and even honestly grown-ass people, their like ability for rational thinking and critical reasoning is gone, right? It's all about headlines and whatever they just want to believe off of headlines. So when they see like Espiritu's name being tagged in with like the likes of Nux in them, people are gonna be like, yo, fuck this guy too, without he actually know what's going on. The more that you talk about this shit, the worse it gets, so it's best for you to just stop talking about them. Chibi then says, free advertisement at this point for all four of us. And this is true. Yeah, it's negative press, but it's like, do you think at this point, like, Chibi, like, do you understand how many haters that they have? Like, of course, he's gonna play this to his side. At this point, that's all he can do. You certainly live in their heads rent-free, unfortunately. I've never really understood the visceral hate towards specific creators when the option to simply unfollow or not watch their content is a much simpler option that benefits everyone, including them. But I'm guessing they've starved for attention in their personal lives. And I love talking about this. I love talking about, these type of people, the hate watchers, the parasocials. And I have a community meme highlighting that. Where is this? Shout out to Mr. Azop. Let's open link. And this is a quick comic in which one of my community members edited to kind of highlight the situation happening. So, it's this guy right over here. It's Kaka #1 hater. Look at this. Kaka, and there's a band sign on his hat. The guy who hates Kaka. Fuck him, bro. Yeah, that's right. You heard me. Look at him. Going out of his way to tell people that has no clue who I am that he hates me. And then he comes home, turns the light on. And what's going on? He's actually the biggest fan. His room has my posters all over it. Bro's got my fucking flex picture there too. And then he tells himself, I can't keep living this lie. Because these haters are the most obsessed fans. They have notifications on. They are willing to always click onto your video the moment that it goes up and leave a dislike to make sure that they are there for you. And to add on to that, basically, this is what happens with online interactions. Due to the nature of a keyboard and a monitor hiding the presence of you, right? You're willing to say shit and do things that you never would do in real life in a real interaction. And there's a very parasocial element that exists with the audience that watches content. Because the more you watch someone's content, the more you basically spend every day with them. And you might actually really agree with their opinions too, covering whatever diverse amount of topics, and you make a delusion in your head thinking, you're my best friend. But there comes a moment where they either break a rule, they're getting, they're acting out, I moderate them. They break a rule in my chat, I ban them, or I say something that they realize, holy shit, you don't actually 100% reflect my opinions. And most grown-up adults at that point will say, yeah, I mean, I don't know you. You are a stranger that's offering content. I appreciate the content for the entertainment value, but at this point, I can acknowledge that we don't have to agree on everything, and this is for entertainment. That's what most reasonable people do. But a lot of people are very not reasonable. They're mentally ill. They have no social interactions. They have no meaningful, fulfilling like purpose in their lives. All they do is be chronically online, consuming, and they fall into this weird parasocial delusion of hate watching. Now people start to like become the most activist, like #1 haters, talking about these content creators that they claim to hate. But all that does again is give more attention to them. And this guy, Chaotic Plus, is absolutely right, which is funny that he has a monkey emote in his name. Shout out to my monkey squad. This is the best way to deal with people you don't like. Stop giving them attention. Make them irrelevant. Because the fastest way that you can make Chibi or me or anyone else you hate just not succeed, we can't do this full time, is for people to stop watching our content. And how do you do that? You stop talking about them. You stop engaging with them. Now, just because you don't do that doesn't mean we're not going to succeed, because we're going to start grinding and start making content that resonates with their audience. So if you don't align with it, you can just fucking leave. But I'm saying, if the more that like the faster you don't walk away, like we're gonna keep growing more and more and more. And all this does is make idiots like you just like seem way more insane, right? It's gonna make you seem, but they don't care about that, right? These hate watchers don't actually care about us becoming irrelevant or whatnot, because what they want is for their voices to be heard. They felt personally hurt and they're lashing out, and they want attention. The attention that their parents never gave them. Time after time, I have interactions with losers like this. And the most common thing I notice is they're so starved for attention because there's nothing good going on in their lives. And because they feel so numb, all they can do is hate watch and just talk about random ass shit that like basically will get them any attention. Rage baiting online. That's a thing that happens a lot. And why did they rage bait? Because again, when they rage bait, or when they start talking shit about this, they'll realize that they can get engagements, right? Other losers will see the rage bait, or other people will see the rage bait and get baited and engage with it. And in that act, the feeling of the void and the absence in their heart goes away. Even if it's not good feelings, right? Because of constant people telling them it's just negative interactions, at least they feel something. And that is why they do this. It's a bunch of lonely, depressed children, people without any meaning or purpose in their lives, interacting this way because they're so starved for attention and they want to just feel something. And when you contextualize these losers like that, then you realize, holy shit, it's actually so sad. They're honestly victims, but I don't got time for that shit. Espiritu comes in and says, funny thing is I try to force myself out of politics. I thought unfollowing it all, sorry to Muma Ako for that list, blocking it would all help. But I got ham-fisted back in because the same people attacking me want to defend censorship, claim anime needs to remove problematic elements, and I just got tired of seeing these same old people claim to be anime fans attacking the same anime community. I think that at the end of the day, you should, yeah, I think that once you enter the arena, right, basically, these are sensitive topics that if you engage, a lot of people are gonna start like negatively interacting with it too. Espiritu decided to take a step away from it, but I think that, I don't know, personally I enjoy giving my analysis and opinion because like I don't have like a side other than my side, and I'm totally fine with entering the arena and dealing with the retards because they're just fun content to farm. But not everyone is built like me, like a maniac. And if you don't want to handle that mental stress, then yeah, walking away is probably good. It's just kind of sad though, huh? That Espiritu actively tries to not, deal with this shit, but you got weird parasocials that probably still hate watch him to this day. It's just so funny that Espiritu got, roped into this. Next up, what is this? So Ellen Historian says, these comments Lamau, they keep kicking and screaming with the same old rhetoric and racism, but one by one, they're being exposed for what they really are. I'm glad the anime community is finally waking up and moving in a better direction. I need you to know that, like, the anime community doesn't know we exist. Let me just stop the music here for a second. Do you think that the average anime watcher knows about Ellen Historian's tweets? Do you think they know about Chibi? Or Rev, or Espiritu? They don't give a fuck. We are an insignificant drop in a puddle of the fucking ocean of the amount of people that watch anime. Like, let me give you an example. Okay? It's funny that like Ellen Historian seems to think that like he's doing some sort of like big purpose and he's like making these people become woke. So here's my opinion of the people that watch anime. And it's this circle right here. And this circle represents the weebs, the OG weebs and the veterans that's been watching anime, big fan of fan subs, pirating, blah blah blah, veteran weebs. And then there's also a lot of, you know, casual watchers. There's a lot of people that watch anime for the first time on Netflix and usually only watch through English dub. I think that the amount of people that interact and even know about names like this, and I'm not trying to downplay like the size of Chibi's viewership, Ellen Historian's viewership, Rev's viewership, Nux, and so on, but like I think that we are like here, and it's an arbitrary number. It is an arbitrary number and a size figure. Who knows how big it is? But what I'm trying to tell you is I think people in the blue are people who are not chronically online that still watch anime and I think would be part of the anime community. They just don't happen to fucking read all the fucking Reddit threads and watch these stupid ass drama videos and engage on Twitter. Like, so when you think about like we zoomed all the way fucking in and these are the actual chronic fucking losers online, just including myself, that all that we do is fucking interacting drama. I don't know, the anime community waking up and moving in a better direction sounds funny that we have like a big purpose that like or like a benefit for the anime community. I think we are such a niche, small fucking subset of the bigger overall enjoyers of anime, and like these tweets, they're not doing anything. They're not fucking doing, there's no like social justice or some sort of like movement happening to like make people become awake. So the tweet that he's responding to here is right over here, right? Ellen Historian is condemning this guy. The anime community would be so much better without tourists and hoodweebs. And what are hoodweebs? A term that refers to people who started watching anime after the pandemic and get offended by fan service, so they call for the censorship. I didn't invent that word, but everyone thinks it's racist for stupid reasons. When you say hoodweeb, you are specifically talking about black people watching anime. Let me play the music off. We need to get serious here for a second. So this is the issue I'm talking about. Ellen Historian is quote retweeting a fucking retard. A genuine idiot who is just using the term hoodweeb without even understanding the racial context behind it. Why are black people tied into the name hoodweebs? Because the hood, what is the hood? It's the neighborhood. But when you shorten it to a hood, it's slang. It's fucking derogatory, you know, placements of like impoverished neighborhoods that the black community resides in due to the outcome of slavery. You know what I'm saying? That's why there is a negative, derogatory, you know, sentiment tied in with hoodweebs of specifically black people that watch anime that you disagree with and want to like basically label them as this. You don't even understand that shit and you just fucking say hoodweeb like that. What a fucking dumbass. If it's actually racist, I'm sorry, lol, I didn't mean to use it that way. And boom, there it is, right? But here's the thing. You see in this small interaction that happened in 1 hour, in a single hour, this was addressed. What does Ellen Historian do? Posterize it. Crucify him. Say that there's a bunch of racist people that are in the anime community and that this is the good thing to do. And you know what? I agree that like Ellen Historian is probably right that there is a lot of racist people that hate black people in the anime community. I've seen it, you've seen it. Usually they come from profile pictures of the most like moe, like chibi, like it's like some idol girl from anime and they'd be saying the most outlandish shit. So he is right about that. It's just, you know, to quote retweet this guy who had absolutely no idea what's going on and then to label it like this. I mean, should he have done his due diligence? He still gets his point across that there are racist people. It's just that this is the wrong person to kind of, you know, crucify. But I'm sure if we really wanted to find one, we could have found one, bro. And there was the whole case with like his black friend getting called a hoodweeb because he had like a Nezuko figurine. No. I think his black friend was condemning others with the Nezuko figurine and people are calling them tourists and stuff like that. It all boils down to these tourists' dislike for fan service and lolly stuff. And they parade around that by acting as the moral figure, as like an enlightened, ethical, better person, because we are on the side of anti-pedophilia, which again, right, is a very nuanced thing, especially in the work of fiction. But that's how they get the moral high ground and parade around that saying, these people bad, I am good. These are some funnier stuff about anime is right wing, some more delusions. These are the more comments like that. Hold on, let's see something else. Anime community is not moving in a better direction, Lamau. This community has sucked long before and definitely after. Nah, I've seen people just start call out weird shit, maybe not here on X, but other sites. What's the other weird shit though? It's probably more to do with like lolly stuff. I'm kind of new to all this drama, but what's your platform all about? Serious question, because honestly, you don't seem any different from them. Ellen Historian's platform, I don't know. He just doesn't like the lolly stuff. So far, watching Ellen Historian's content, I think the thing that he just really doesn't like is lolly fan service. That's pretty much it, right? It all starts with him condemning Mushoku Tensei with the lolly stuff, saying, like, just because I criticize this shit, suddenly you have a bunch of people calling me a tourist because I'm anti-lolly. And we've talked about how absolutely, I don't think you're a tourist because you're anti-lolly. But then he takes that, and then basically has been going off with it. And that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of where we're at. You are moving in a better direction. You are gay. If we're back to using gay as an insult, as something negative in 2025, the pendulum straight up has shifted really, really back though. And that's kind of where we're at. A bunch of stupid ass drama, and I'm waiting for a video, right? This is the prequel, I think, right? This is a new arc, a new saga that we're about to enter, and this is the prequel. Just wait for the drama videos to come out for us to react to. So TLDR, the overall state of the affair with the anime community is, what is it? One dude really hates Espiritu and tied him in to other 3 creators that are more outspoken about their political ideologies in anime, specifically regarding fan service and censorship. Ellen Historian disagrees with those and says that these are a symptom, a problem, right? A much problem within the anime. And what are the symptom though, right? So when you say this is a symptom, that means that there's like a root cause. And what is the root cause? Is he going to say that like the root cause of this is maybe he'll say there's like an inherent pedophilic culture in anime, and these are the symptoms of it. And you know what? Is he wrong? I know that's not what he's saying, but I want you to think about this really hard for a second. Because the thing about Ellen Historian is that he doesn't argue off of arguments that he thinks he's going to lose with. He specifically picks win conditions that does exist and then basically reaches with it. That's why a lot of people, even if they hate him, when I give my analysis, I'm like, you know what? You're right about these things. I think there is definitely a tendency for Japanese culture in anime and fiction to do fan service of minors though, right? To deny this, I think, would be absolutely ridiculous. It'd be ignorant, right? The amount of lolly stuff that exists, and not even just like a lolly specifically. And I know that we talk about how anime is fiction, and therefore age doesn't matter. What matters more is the body type of, does it look like a child or an adult, as well as the mental age. Do they act like a child or an adult, and we go off of that? But I think if his stance, and this is an assumption, right? If he's trying to go with this by saying the root cause is anime's inherent nature towards pedophilic content, and these are the symptoms of it, who are absolutely pro fan service. And fan service isn't just lolly stuff, right? There's a wide spectrum of fan services, but Ellen Historian thinks specifically hones in on the lolicon stuff, and that's what he is, he's trying to make his platform off of. But that's pretty much it. A bunch of nothing burger, but I'm just waiting for some sort of video to come out. I'm waiting for a video or Ellen Historian to make a short of it so we can talk about this more. See you next time. Also, shout out to Espiritu. I just feel bad for Espiritu, bro. Bro just be gooning in peace. Bro just be gooning in peace on Twitter, making viral clips, and now he is one of the 4 horsemen, bro.